If you've ever wanted to make a podcast of your own and you don't really know where to start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Anchor, because I feel like a lot of times other podcasters will tell people about how they put their podcast up, and you don't believe them because they're not just two boobs sitting in their living room, but we are two boobs just sitting in our living room. And I'm serious when I tell you.
To put it.
We use Anchor, and it is the easiest way to get a podcast up and running quickly. We bought 2 microphones, we bought a mixer, and then Anchor has tools that you can, if you don't have access to GarageBand or know how to use Audacity, you can record right in Anchor. And it even lets you edit. You can do it all from your phone or your computer. You can even do it from your phone, which I've never tried. But I guess for people, if they're like traveling and they want to do interviews or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can record right from your phone. So I basically got the Anchor account. I named the podcast, did like a little what it's about. Within like a day, I knew how to, like as soon as we had our first episode, I was able to upload it. And then when you put it on Anchor, they go ahead and distribute it to all of the other platforms. So they distribute it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. You don't even have to know how to do any of that.
Wow.
And then every time, and I'd always heard that like having a podcast was expensive. And the reason why it was expensive is for the hosting. But the hosting on Anchor is completely free. You just upload the podcast, and then it distributes it. And then every time we put a new episode up, it goes straight out on your RSS feed. It does it all. So I'm here to tell you that it is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much sounds like it's all you need.
Yeah.
It's everything you need in one place.
Yes.
To make a podcast.
And it is totally free.
Nice. That is the best part. I like that. Go ahead and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Mother, you are making me crazy.
Oh, yeah? You want to know what makes me crazy?
What?
The way you pick your teeth when you talk on the phone. My God, if we ever start using picture telephones, you are going to lose half your business.
Don't start, Mother. Don't start with me.
Oh, I'm shaking in my pumps.
Oh, now, hold on here. Hold on. I got something to say.
I know what you're going to say. What's the matter with you people? You're not going to settle anything by arguing your family.
Hi. Welcome back to...
Hey, yo. Oh, hey.
the Who's the Boss podcast. I'm Tori.
I'm Kevin. I didn't know if you were going to do it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I thought it was pretty good.
We are here to rewatch and discuss every single episode of Who's the Boss. Although, honestly, this was not a rewatch for me. I believe that this was just a watch and discuss.
You really think you didn't watch this episode the first time it was on, and
during
you just don't remember.
Maybe I had a band
There's
performance that night, and then
And
over
then
the
you just missed it
summer I just
forever.
happened to be out, and then I do not remember this episode at all.
I mean, I don't remember the last 15, but
But you said you stopped watching the
I
show.
know, but I feel like
yeah,
I probably
don't
didn't.
know how I didn't catch this on a rerun.
It's hard for me to determine where I stopped watching.
Right.
Because then
It's hard.
wait a minute, I kind of remember this. But then sometimes I think I remember them because we've rewatched before we started the podcast.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird.
And then it's
Now
been
I'm completely
rerun,
lost.
and
everything's new to me now.
several things as we were, in college or maybe young adults that we might have caught here and there. But
True.
I have
Oh,
no
true.
recollection of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, season 6 now, I know I'm definitely every episode's a new episode for me. So
It's a brand new world for you. This is season 6, episode 6. The title is called Mother and Child Disunion. And I was very confused by this title because
Yeah, me
it's
too.
just awkward. So I looked it up, and there is a Paul Simon song called Mother and Child Reunion. So that has to be what they've taken this from. It first
that
aired
makes sense.
on Tuesday, October 31st. It's the Halloween episode.
Oh, clearly it is. I mean, just like every other Halloween episode.
Maybe I didn't see any little pumpkins in the background. I got to look harder this
Never.
time. 1989, and the TV Guide summary says, Angela merges her company with a larger firm, and Mona decides to take her assets elsewhere.
Oh, taking my assets elsewhere.
What do you have?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, gosh. Yes. You caught me off guard there. After a soiree, Tony helped hang on. I got to read this again. After a soiree, Tony helped host masterly. Richard Braden invites Angela's firm to, oh gosh, it's kind of hard to read. So Richard Braden invites Angela's firm to merge with his much large one. Think he meant larger one. Mona is against, but her bluff or I quit is called. The row grows so bitter, even Tony advises to give up collaborating. Once working for Braden, Angela starts doubting the wisdom of handing over control.
Yep.
Mona fails to get another job, but increases the pressure by becoming Braden's coffee lady and stir outside the cups.
Stir outside the cups.
You can clearly tell I read that cold.
But is stir outside the cups real? Because that's funny.
That's what it says.
That's
awesome. Why did I
awesome.
make that up? It says Mona fails to get another job and increases the pressure by becoming Braden's coffee lady and stir outside the cups.
I like that.
I know. I mean, like
It's like
somebody really put some thought into
outside the
it.
box.
Yeah.
But stir outside the cups. So when this episode first starts, they're having like a networking party at the house. And Tony has employed Samantha to
hand out the
hors
mushroom
d'oeuvres.
caps.
Yes.
Or the maki.
That whole scene makes me a little uncomfortable because like the two guys are kind of looking at her as she walks into the kitchen, and she is like a 17-year-old girl.
I know.
But probably in the
the same
80s,
thing.
I would have never even batted an eye at it. But now I just see them looking at her, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into the kitchen because they are now out of rumaki. We've heard that one before on this show. I don't think I've ever heard rumaki used anywhere.
What's rumaki?
We looked it up the last time, and now I have
really?
no idea what
We
it
really
is.
did?
Yes,
Oh,
because it was in a wedding episode, and it's one of Angela's favorites, and I think there's liver in it. It's like some sort of liver pate, because Angela wants the rumaki, and Tony doesn't bring it to the table because he doesn't think she likes it, and she says, "'Cause your liver is dry."
We just...
That's a terrible story, but it's the wedding episode in season 3.
No, I just looked it up, and now that I see the Google images that are coming up, I remember looking at I remember the last time we looked it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, it says it's an hors d'oeuvre of tiki culture origin. Which
I remember that too. Yeah.
It was popularly served at Trader Vic's and other Polynesian restaurants in the 1950s and 60s.
Right.
But,
I remember that.
It mostly consists of water chestnuts and chicken liver wrapped in bacon. Yeah, we went over this.
Wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, with soy. And because I remember the last time reading this, you were like, that. I think I had you at bacon.
Yeah, you did.
But chicken liver.
I know. I don't know about that, but I would
wrapped
try
in
it.
bacon, marinated in soy sauce and either ginger or brown sugar, and then fried or baked.
Yeah, that sounds good. But this is the only show or only place in my life I've ever heard of rumaki, and it's been mentioned twice. So they're at a rumaki.
Apparently, Tony knows how to make a mean rumaki.
He does, even though Angela thought his liver was dry. Then
True.
Tony's like, okay, well, then push the mushroom caps. So then Jonathan comes in because he's also working this party, and he's like, we're all out of mushroom caps. So then Tony says, okay, then push the shrimp. So then Samantha pushes Jonathan out of the kitchen door.
Not nice.
Oh, but it's pretty funny. And
But
she's very
funny.
proud of herself, too. So Angela comes in and she's like all excited because the party's going really well, but she's also nervous because there are a lot of big advertising firms out there.
And she's wearing some serious gold here.
She is. Gold shirt, gold
top.
earrings. Her hair even looks kind of goldish with the highlights. Yeah. This is probably the first time she's had kind of a networking party like this since starting her own agency, because before she was with Wallace & McQuaid, and I'm not really sure what the point would be to be networking with other ad agencies, but let's just go with it because who knows?
Well, I think the idea, which we find out later, is maybe looking to merge.
Yes, that does
And
come up.
Yeah, combine.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that that's really what the point of this would be.
Oh, I see.
Or I wasn't really sure why advertising agencies would be networking. Because like I work for a streaming company and we don't really network with other streaming companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was just having like larger, companies come in.
Right.
Looking to kind of merge with them.
So she's feeling nervous and Tony's building her up and he's like, you're the best advertising agent I know and you look better in heels than any of the guys out there. Because of course, she's still one of the only women in this profession.
Right.
Or at least that she's working with here. It's mostly still men. He's telling her, that campaign that you came up with for Me Perfume is so good. And then he says the slogan, which is something like, me, it's so you. Which seems silly, but he's very proud of Angela. So then another guy comes in. I believe this guy's name is Richard Braden. And he says, hey, I thought Ed Pfeiffer was going to be here. Where is he? And Angela's like, oh, yeah, no, he flew in and I sent a limo for him. And then Mona's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Mona, of course, forgot to send a limo to the airport to pick up Ed Pfeiffer. So Tony's trying to, do some damage control. And he's like, all right, well, we got this under... No, we'll get it, all taken care of. No worries. So Angela's very upset with Mona because she's like, how can you do this? I can't count on you for anything. And then at some point, something about mixed nuts comes up. And Mona's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And she tries to leave the kitchen.
I know. But, mixed nuts, really?
Yeah, Mona's exceptionally horny in this episode, as we'll see the rest of it.
I know. Mixed nuts got her.
So Tony's like, you guys are driving me crazy when you fight. And he tries to get in the middle of them. And he's like, you got to stop arguing. Your family. You can work through this. But they're not having it. So Tony's working the party. He's telling some guy all about how Angela helped a couple of companies increase their business by 30%. He did this. She did that. And the guy's like, oh, it's really good to know, but you didn't answer my question. And he's like, oh, it's under the stairs, around the corner, which means that the guy just wanted to know where the bathroom was.
I know.
And Tony was, but it's so cute how Tony was really a cheerleading for Angela, always.
Of course.
So now Richard Braden's getting ready to leave the party, but he and Angela have been discussing something that Angela's very excited about. So as he leaves, Mona's like... Again, exceptionally horny in this episode. She's like, did I hear something that would lead to bed squeaking? And then she's making signals with her hands and going,
like, yeah. That's disturbing.
I know. Mona, that's your daughter. First off.
Immediately, she's going down that road.
Yeah, settle down. But Angela's like, no, Mother, we were discussing business. And he was actually bringing up the idea of merging. And now Mona has completely lost interest, but Tony's still into the story here. So they're talking about the merger, and then Tony says the word merger a little too loud, and he gets the attention of other people at the party. And she's like, shh, get him to shush down. And so instead he's like, oh, murder. I thought you said merger.
Right, which isn't any better. Like, if
two
people are talking about murder, right.
Of course, these days, now that there are so many murder podcasts, it would probably be much more... just acceptable that someone's just talking about murder instead of merger. So Mona sees that they're talking about something that's excitable, and she's like, I'm not even going to bother because I'm sure you guys are talking about business. And she leaves. So the next morning, Angela's ready to talk to Richard about this merger. Tony's making breakfast, and I noticed that he's actually cooking breakfast again.
Oh, yeah.
No boxed oatmeal. Maybe it's the summer and he doesn't have to go to school right now. So he sets down her breakfast, and she's so excited about this because she's like, you don't know what this means to someone like me. Like, I was always the nerdy girl with the knock knees and the messed up teeth. And to now be like, in this position where I can be a confident businesswoman and among all of these men just really means a lot to me. So Mona comes in because she's late, which Angela's getting annoyed at. And Tony's like, well, maybe she's just taking the extra minute to make sure that she really looks good for you this morning. When Mona shows up, she's wearing the exact same outfit as Angela. down to the necklace. Everything is exactly the same. And Tony's trying to play it off. He's like, oh, well, maybe this could be cute. And he's like, actually, no, you guys look ridiculous. Total nerds. So Angela's the one that's going to go change because she knows if she sends her mother back, it's again like a child. Like if you were to send a child back to their room to change their outfit, you've now added 35 minutes to your morning.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no way that the kid's going to go in, quickly pick something out, and put it on. Mona is a high child. While Angela's gone, Tony takes this opportunity to talk to Mona, and he's like, listen, you're not going to do anything to mess this deal up. He's like, you know what this means to Angela. And he's kind of repeating what Angela said to him about her being a knock-kneed child that had messed up teeth. And Mona's just taking this opportunity to lay into her even more. She's oh yeah, she got her knees from her dad, and you should have seen her overbite. But Tony's like, all right, just play it cool and don't mess this up. But Mona doesn't want this to happen because she says that Richard Braden is a yutz. She doesn't like him. Oh, I forgot to say who Richard Braden is. Let me see here. He is played by Michael Durrell. And the most notable thing I found on his IMDb is he was in 32 episodes of 90210. And he was recently in a couple episodes of Grace and Frankie.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just saw that.
So he is still working these days, which is great.
I mean, he was in... he was in Dexter. That's interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it say who he played?
Just Stuart Frank. Maybe Dexter killed him. I don't know.
Probably.
It's one episode, and that's usually how it goes.
That's
when
usually
they have a
what
name
happens.
like that.
Yeah. So they get to Richard's office, and Angela and Mona get called in. And at first, like, Richard's already not excited to see Mona because she forgot to send the limo for the other guy. So already he's just like,
so
whatever.
She's already like, he's already done with her.
On his list. Then she sits down, and he has a secretary all ready to go in his office to take notes for this meeting. But Angela's like, this is my secretary, and she'll also be taking notes. And he's just like, okay, whatever.
Right. He's like, mine will take notes just in case. Like, of course, since Mona's... It's probably a good move. You know what I mean?
Totally. Mona had no intention of taking any notes.
No, as you'll learn here in a minute.
Yeah. So she sits down, and she's sitting next to the other secretary, who seems very well put together, has her little Steno notebook. Is that what they were called? Steno? And a pen. She's ready to go. So Richard is saying, most people define a merger as like combining businesses, but I really feel that it's combining our strengths. And then Mona's like, oh man, is it hot in here? Just like causing commotion in the background. So they kind of look at her like, yes, of course. So Richard goes ahead and sends her out. He's like, you know what? We don't need two people taking notes on this. My secretary's got it. Why don't you just go out there and get yourself a cup of coffee? So Mona's like, okay, great. And she goes and leaves. And then this is the best joke, I think, of the whole episode. As she leaves, Richard turns to Angela and says, where did you find that woman? And Angela says, at the end of my umbilical cord.
I know. It's so funny.
It is. It's very funny.
She's not ashamed to admit
that's her mom.
Her child.
There's nothing that she can't hide it. Now, this scene there are quite a few scenes cut out of the Antenna TV version of this episode, but the Roku channel one had some more scenes. So now Mona is in the office, and I think actually this part's in the Antenna TV, but they cut it. It's shorter than it is on here. And she goes over to a woman who's wearing a Walkman while she's working, and that woman is Marcia Cross.
Yeah.
So everyone knows Marcia Cross from Desperate Housewives. And I didn't realize that she is also now in this latest season of You, which we haven't caught up with yet.
Oh, yeah,
the Netflix series about that guy who stalks people.
Right.
She's in 3 episodes in the 2021 season playing Jean Peck. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Simona's talking to Marcia Cross's character, and she's like, oh, I like to listen to my Walkman, too, when I work. What are you listening to? Like, metal or...
I know. Like, she runs the gamut of all the, like, popular hip-hop or whatever.
Are you a metalhead, techno freak? And she says, no, I'm actually transcribing notes from a meeting. And then an attractive guy walks by, and that catches Mona's eye. And she's like, oh, man. And another coworker comes over, and she's like, listen, we don't do office romance here. Like, that gets really messy. And Mona's like, Or she says that can be really uncomfortable. And then Mona says, not if the supply cabinet is carpeted.
I know. Come on.
Exceptionally horny in this episode.
I know, but like, and what does that mean? Carpeted, like
it's comfortable on your knees, I guess.
Oh God.
Yeah, or just laying on the ground, or sitting. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
Who knows with Mona? It could be anything. Mona's always been a fantastic character, but this episode I really feel like she shines in because her character is so great, but as a person, she is terrible. Terrible all around. Real. So Mona comes back into the meeting and she's like, you know what? You guys have this handled, so I'm just going to go get myself a pedicure and I will be back later. And you can tell Angela's embarrassed, but she's like, she does wear a lot of open-toed shoes. Oh, that was our dryer. Oh. And Richard at this point has had it. And he's like, listen, this merger is going to be great, but there really is no place for your mother here. So you need to figure something out about her. And Angela's trying to defend her, but I don't think that she's willing to let...
she doesn't have the energy.
Right. The merger fall through because of that. Yeah. She's not going to die on that hill. Back at home, and the Antenna TV version just picks up with Tony criticizing Samantha's hors d'oeuvre handling skills. But this makes it a little more clear in this version because he tells her... we're probably going to be having more of these parties, so you're going to have to be helping me out. And so he's explaining to her that you don't just hand out hors d'oeuvres, you present them thusly. And then he's like bending over and holding out the hors d'oeuvre tray. And she's like, okay, but this is child labor, Dad. And he's like, no, if you want allowance, you're going to do this. So she's, okay, let me see. So she's holding up the tray the way she's supposed to.
Right.
Not at all interested in actually doing any of this. Tony hears that Angela and Mona are home. Did I say Mona? Mona are home. He goes out into the living room and they're already arguing. And they're arguing over the fact that Angela's thinking about taking this merger deal and Mona thinks it's a bad idea. Tony gets in the middle. Mona tells him to shut up. That's not going over well. And Angela's like, Mona says that she's going to be miserable. And Angela's like, can you just think of someone else besides yourself for a minute and think about the fact that this would be a good career move for me? And Mona doesn't think it would be a good career move for Angela. So they're arguing and it's like getting heated. And okay, wait a minute. This may be the best joke of the whole episode. I was wrong. So
what is it?
You remember. You just don't remember right now.
I know. I just...
Oh, you were playing?
What's that?
Are you playing?
Yeah.
You really do remember? You're just kidding around?
Yeah. I'm just letting you set it up.
I got it. I'm so used to you getting confused that I wasn't sure.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was trying to Anyway, go ahead.
Mona says, it drives me crazy when you pick your teeth while you're on the phone. If we ever start using picture telephones, you're going to lose half your business.
I know. That was fantastic
That's
when I
so
saw this.
Great.
That's all today is picture telephones.
So do you think Angela somewhere out there today is on Zooms picking her teeth, or she's gotten it under control? Yeah,
I mean, she has to have it under control by now. But I just thought that was so funny because, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. Sometimes, because I mean, right now I still go to work, but we do have Zoom meetings, right? So, and everyone's in their offices, and I am conscious about what's going on, like if I'm eating or something, and then
I will not eat on Zoom.
What's that?
I can't eat on Zoom. I won't do it.
And then sometimes, if I'm snacking, it's not even like I'm sitting there eating a 4-course meal, cutting up my meat. Right. I'm just if I'm grabbing some nuts or something, I will literally turn my camera off sometimes because I'm just, and then I'm and then I sit there and think about what have I done? Has anybody seen me do something?
Right. No,
that I should have done on Zoom. Did I pick my nose or no? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm so. I don't know. It's just funny. That this scene made me laugh for that reason because it's back then it was not a reality. And then that was always the talk back. Then when we were kids was will there ever be video phones?
Well, you would go to Epcot, and that was a big deal at Epcot.
Video
was
phones,
that someday we were going to have video phones.
And it's gosh, what is that going to consist of, and how is that going to work? And now it's just you could do it on your phone, on your computer.
I know.
It's just amazing how far we've come with technology,
But for FaceTiming, I think people probably still opt for text or to just call on the phone as opposed to FaceTime. Our kids FaceTiming a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and family members
But if I just call you in the middle of the day, I'm never going to FaceTime you because unless
I tried to FaceTime you the other day to try to get direction on something. You wouldn't answer on FaceTime. You answered as an audio call. You're like, no.
I know, it's because
you're like, he's probably did that by mistake.
Right, that's exactly what I thought, was that you did it on accident.
I wanted you to show me something, or like I wanted to show you something, and then you just were like, no. And you were just out for a walk, and I was here at the house, and you didn't want to FaceTime me. It's because I
answered on my watch, and I couldn't do it on my watch. But so I'll be in meetings with people who full on eat, and they have no, like, I'm so in awe of people who can be on Zoom and just be comfortable, not care what angle they're at, eat food.
I get a little like, because sometimes in my job I have like I'll start a meeting and then I'll have to like close the door because we're talking about stuff that isn't public or whatever, or not public, but like other employees. Since I'm in a management role, other employees should know. And I'm gonna go close my door, and I get up, and then I see myself come and sit back down. I'm like, oh my God, everybody just saw all of that.
I turn the camera
off.
I
look
if I
terrible.
Have to get up.
What is this?
I know. But now it's just a way of life. Like, we just have to.
I know.
And the thing is, too, is I think, like, if I was sitting in a room with all these people,
you wouldn't care because you can't see yourself.
Right. I can't see myself. That's the thing.
You could see yourself in that little tiny box on the screen.
Like, I would eat in meetings before, and I would sit all slouched over. I don't care what angle I'm at.
I don't care because other people do, so I've given up.
People have sat in there and eaten full-on meals during meetings.
That's impressive.
Without any problem.
I could see people cutting up a steak or something, eating some potatoes.
But yeah, so this is one way where like this show is so dated in the fact that they're just, kind of contemplating what picture telephones are going to be like.
I know, but I mean, we grew up with that. Like back then, it was like, when are the flying cars coming?
Right.
When are
the flying cars coming?
I don't know, but we've got the video phone. We've got all the other things that we dreamed of and didn't even know about.
That was the big joke about Epcot, that it went straight from video phones to living in space, and there was nothing in between.
Like, what happened?
And then, like, if you've gone to Epcot recently, now they've like updated the big ball that you go in with like the internet at the end, because I feel like the internet just completely took Epcot by surprise.
Because I feel like the last time I went, or last time I saw it, it was the dial-up sound, like
probably.
You know what I mean? Like, hopefully they've updated it since then. I don't know.
So Tony tries to get in the middle again to get them to stop fighting, and Angela's like, enough. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
And then she goes into this full Brooklyn accent.
I know, this is great. I love this whole scene.
Yes,
this whole scene was great.
I mean, already you know how much I love Judith Light, and then she's just fantastic in this part. She's like, I know what you're going to say. You can't settle anything by arguing with your family. And then Mona gets in on it too. And she's like, I can't remember exactly what she says,
like,
but she's
let's
also
have a little understanding and love you. And then like he's offended.
Yes. And
he's
like,
officially offended.
He says, that's not me. That's Stallone.
Right. Which
is pretty funny.
I know.
Because he's like the TV Stallone.
Right. Exactly.
And he says, no, actually, I was going to tell you guys that you shouldn't work together anymore because this isn't working, and you should never work even a mile apart from each other ever again. Then he decides to tell a story about Joey and Johnny Sanudo. And they're like, oh, and they sit down and just like, they know what's coming.
Sanudo boys.
The Sanudo boys. And he's like, you can learn a lot from my colorful past. So then he tells them how they owned a greeting card store on Euclid Avenue for 35 years.
Wow.
And they argued about everything until one day Joey whipped out an axe and cut Johnny's head off.
Like, what? Wait a minute. This just took a freaking turn. I thought it was going to be like there was a disagreement. They got in a fight. No. One of the brothers lopped the other brother's head off.
Yeah. Speaking of murder podcasts, that would have been a great one for this.
I mean, this is
universe.
Pretty heavy for Who's the Boss episode. Guy cut the other guy's head off, and they were brothers.
And Angela's like, oh my God, what happened? And Tony's like, well, we started shopping at Woolworths.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's so ridiculous. So anyway, he's
got to be a fake story.
Of course.
You think that story would have come up long before season 6.
I don't know. I think it's real. I think there's the tale of Joe. I don't think anyone ever saw it happen, But it's the tale of Joey and Johnny Sanudo of Euclid Avenue. And they just
who got
never
their
saw
head cut
Johnny
off,
again.
Johnny or
It was
Joey?
Johnny, yeah.
Oh, it was Johnny. Okay,
yeah, and
maybe
then
I
they
missed
just
that.
never saw Johnny
Oh,
again.
jeez.
And that is the legend of Euclid Avenue.
All right.
So Angela's like, you know what? Actually, this works out great because Richard doesn't want you anyway. And so if you want to go ahead and quit, then you can quit. And Mona is offended. She's like, you would give me up for a merger? And Angela's like, I'll help you find a new position somewhere else. And Mona's like, no, forget it. I gave you my kidney, and this is what you do to me. And Angela's like, no, you didn't. But Mona's like, well, now if you ever need one, I will not give it to you. And she leaves. Now, the next morning, this joke is rough. So the next morning, Mona comes in, and Angela says, good morning, Mother. And Mona just says, die.
I know. She's just so done with her.
I don't feel like you'd really hear that joke on a family sitcom these days. Everything is way softer than that. That's pretty bold.
It is.
And Tony's like, I told you she'd start talking to you again. So she's trying to get Mona to realize that she's being ridiculous. She's like, listen, I've offered you another position within the company and you thumbed your nose up at me. And Mona says, that wasn't my thumb. And Angela's like, okay, whatever, I'm leaving. She gets up and leaves. And now Tony's trying to convince Mona that she needs to make up with Angela because any heart, what if you get hate in your heart, it drives all the loving out.
Oh, boy.
And Mona's like, what are you? Are you defending her or are you writing a country song? And I think Tony's actually writing a country song because he seems pretty proud of himself. Tony's hair this season is a travesty.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Lego helmet.
I know. It really is. That's the only way to describe it. It looks like a Lego helmet. And it's a coif. Like he's...
Yeah, what is happening?
I don't know.
Back
He
so
washes
long.
that thing, and then he gets out in the shower, and then combs it back, and then that's it.
I mean, someone is actually like rolling that back part into a bob because it actually looks like it rolls under like a bob.
Somebody's really proud of their work.
They're
like, this looks great.
I mean, he could put that in a ponytail. It's so odd. I'm so glad that is not a look that happens anymore these days. But Mona says that she actually is interested in getting another job because she misses work. And Tony's like, you just miss being able to goof off and get paid for it. Yeah. And he tells her, you're not going to find anyone else that's going to give you that opportunity besides Angela. But Mona's not so sure. So she has the classifieds and she calls up a number and she asks the person when they answer the phone, can you tell me about how hard this job is? And if you're near any major shopping districts. And you can tell that the person's getting annoyed because she's like, I sound lazy. Well, you sound fat. And then she hangs up the phone.
Wow. I mean, I don't think she's going to be getting any jobs that way.
No. And again, a joke we wouldn't hear on TV today. And then Tony says, well, so much for that job at Weight Watchers. So she called Weight Watchers and then she told the person on the phone that they sounded fat.
I know. Like,
Mona really is a terrible person.
She is. There's no two ways around it.
Now, I don't understand exactly how this worked, but suddenly, is she just here working at the office to give this a try? Because there's no way that they just got rid of the Bauer agency already, right?
I guess, yeah.
That would have seemed like a very quick transition. So yeah, for some reason, Angela is working at Richard's ad agency for the day. She has some storyboards that she's interested in getting feedback on. She goes over to Marcia Cross's character, who that's what I'm going to keep calling her because, her name's Kelly. Look at that. Okay. She goes over to Kelly and she's asking her for her opinion. And she's like, oh yeah, they're nice. And Angela's like, no, I mean, does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel bad? Does it make you feel, which is something that Mona would do.
Right.
And Kelly is like, I don't know. I mean, they're fine. So Angela's like, okay, great. So she walks away and she hears someone moaning or groaning about coffee.
Groaning. This makes no sense.
It doesn't, but it's so funny. So it's Mona wearing this like coffee outfit that says Java Lady on the front. And she's pushing the coffee cart and she is hawking coffee and donuts. Oh, don't wait. My play button. Okay.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Okay. And Angela's like, Mother? And Mona's like, that's Java lady to you.
Java lady.
So she has, in fact, taken a job back at Richard's ad agency, but now as the coffee lady. And I think she's really only doing this so that she can, 1, embarrass Angela, and 2, snoop on Angela. So Richard comes out, and he sees Mona, and he's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me.
And Mona gets him some coffee, and then she stirs it with the pencil that was behind her ear. So I guess that's stirring outside the cups.
Oh, God.
That's her version of stirring outside the cups, is stirring with dirty hairnet pencils.
Well, I guess as long as he knows.
And
he doesn't.
Right. Yeah, he didn't see any of that. So Mona's like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to serving this other floor before I have to scrub the stairs. And then she's grunting and groaning about coffee and donuts on the way out. And I can't tell here if this is Angela that's worried she's going to laugh, or if it's Judith that's worried she's going to laugh. But she's kind of covering her face for a minute, and then she gets her composure. Yeah. I almost think it's Angela. Once Mona's gone, Richard tells Angela that there are a few clients on her list that don't really fit their brand. So he wants her to get rid of those clients, and she's not happy with that.
I didn't understand this at all. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, we only deal with big clients. We don't need to have these little ones. But,
yeah, that's what it seems like.
Money's money, and I feel like any client is good, but maybe it's not worth
their time,
the manpower.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that they're not really into as personable and close contact as Angela normally has with her clients. So it's probably just way more of like a machine.
That's true. Yeah,
just cycling them through. Then he tells her, oh, and don't worry about the Me campaign, because so-and-so came up with a great slogan this morning, so you don't have to do that anymore. And that was the one that Tony was all excited about because he thought that her Me, It's You was very good. Now, even though it looked like Mona got in the elevator, somehow she ditched the coffee cart and then ran back around and snuck behind this cubicle wall. So she's been spying on all of this, and she can see that Angela is not happy. Back home, Tony is showing off how well he cleaned the telephone to Samantha, who could not give a shit.
I know, right?
He really does not care. No. And he's like, this is a mark of a great housekeeper. So Mona comes home and she's carrying a box of stuff, and she's already quit her new coffee job and she took severance pay. So when Samantha starts going through the box, it's a stapler that says property of, and it's whatever Richard's ad agency is. Right. And then she pulls out a framed photo of some woman and a child. And Mona's like, it was, she's like, I heard someone coming, so I just grabbed what I could. So she just silly. Randomly took some guy's wife and kids off his desk and left with it. This episode does have some, this is like the third or fourth laugh out loud funny thing.
Yeah, for sure. I really watched it recently. I'm like, gosh, this episode is really funny.
Yeah, like I enjoy this. I was dreading watching this because I didn't understand the title and I didn't remember the episode, and it was way more enjoyable and way funnier than I expected it to be. So Mona's saying that Angela is miserable, and Tony's like, she's not miserable. She's super happy. She told me 40 times this morning how happy she is. And Sam's like, Dad, people don't say they're happy if they're happy. That's a good point, Sam.
Yeah, that's
some wisdom right there.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. And Tony's like, that's not true. Look, I'm happy right now. And he starts trying to sing about being happy. And he's like, actually, you're right. That doesn't make any sense. Angela comes home and Sam says, Angela, you look really happy. And she's like, I am so happy. And Mona's like, my poor baby, because she thinks that she's lying. So Mona says that she is not happy and that she wants to go back to the Bauer agency and be like it was before, except even better, because she promises that she will be a much better secretary. She's going to learn shorthand. She's going to type. She's going to take dictation. She's going to do all the things that she's supposed to.
Wow.
And Tony gets in there too. She says, I'll even learn how to fax, whatever that is.
Poor fax.
Fax has come and gone in that time. And Tony's getting in there. He's like, you're not going to leave early. You're not going to come in late. You're not going to take 3-hour lunches. And Mona's getting annoyed, but she's like, yes. Look at how their outfits complement each other in this.
Oh, yeah. I see that now.
Yeah, it's very cute. they all kind of go like,
Oh yeah.
the colors are complementary in each of the outfits. So Angela agrees to it, and she's like, I already told Richard that I wasn't going to merge the company. And now Mona realizes that she's been played because she offered all of this stuff up, but Angela wasn't going to take the deal anyway, so it didn't matter. So she gets mad. The two of them start fighting again. They're yelling and screaming at each other. Isn't Tony worried that someone's going to pull out an axe and lop the other one's head off at any moment
He did tell the story.
He did. But he's actually excited to see them arguing because he knows that they're back to being Mona and Angela. So he gives them hugs and he says, my girls are back.
Who's the boss will be back in a moment. Stick around.
In the tag, Tony somehow found a guitar and is sitting on the couch when Angela and Mona get home, and he's singing the country song he has made up about them.
Now, I mean, maybe there was a guitar somewhere in the house.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, maybe Jonathan or Samantha
had a guitar.
dabbled in it. And he's singing,
God, so funny.
Mona and Angela were fighting like cats and dogs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Then Tony got them together, and they're happy like hogs.
Okay.
Mona just leaves, and he's like, Mona's going home. And Angela starts going upstairs, and Angela's heading upstairs.
I know.
And then she turns the lights off. She just turned the lights
Nobody
off
really
on
cares.
me. Nobody really cares. And now it's completely dark on the set, and he's still singing. And that is the end of the episode.
I know. I guess it's because that reference from country music earlier.
Right,
but,
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
which is
obviously,
cute.
But
you can also tell they were kind of like,
what was
what do we
happening?
do with the tag?
I know.
Like,
and then
do we
somebody
have,
came up with something.
Yeah, do we have another hors d'oeuvre joke or what? And then they're like, no, just get Tony Danza a guitar.
Hors d'oeuvre joke.
All right. Who wants to go first with rating?
I don't know.
Who wants to go first with boss?
I want to go first with rating.
Okay, then go.
I gave this a 7.
Nice.
Solid 7.
Yeah.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
I agree.
I thought it was cool that Marcia Cross, right?
Yeah.
Right? Was in it. That was kind of interesting, like a nice little surprise.
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
fun when you
before
see
she was
those.
anybody.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
it's fun
Like,
when
so
you
it's
see
always
those
fun when you see
actors.
those.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not why I gave it a 7. No, I thought the jokes were good. I thought there was like some good, and then of course the video phone joke was that
great.
really made me laugh. That whole scene actually was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just some really fun moments. I thought, and it was again, another episode I've watched for the first time, which I think that's a first for you.
I think so.
You're pretty convinced. I know we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
You're pretty convinced that this is the first time you saw this. I know a lot of these episodes are like that for me, but yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. Like some of them, you just kind of go through the motions and then we do the podcast. But this one was actually really funny. So
Yeah.
I gave it a solid 7.
Nice. I agree. I also gave it a 7. And again, it made me laugh out loud. I wasn't excited to watch it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the fun, like when you're just not excited to watch it.
Right,
And watching
and then
it, like, well, actually, that was
pleasantly
pretty
surprised,
funny.
yeah.
Like there were some really good 80s moments in
Yes.
it, I guess. Is
And
the
there
best
was
way to put it.
a lot of funny Mona stuff because as terrible as a person Mona is, the character is really funny. And so it makes for a good time.
That's true.
I also loved, even though this episode is very light on any Tony and Angela, it is so funny when she is mocking him or like imitating him because it just kind of shows like how close they've become and that she knows what he's going to say and she does the accent and everything. And I thought that was really cute.
I know that. Yeah, actually, you're right. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. That is a great scene, like when she just does this accent.
Yeah.
And then Mona like joins right in with
Right.
it. Like it's like blow for blow. They're
Right.
just coming at him at that
They're
point.
definitely a
And he's like,
family.
no.
Yeah.
Like, which is probably in the reality is that's what he was probably going to say.
Right, exactly.
But then he goes in another direction with it. Anyway.
Who's the boss around here? Me? Or my mother? Or maybe it's you?
Okay, I came really close to giving this one to Mona. Like up until a second ago, I was actually going to give this to Mona.
Ago.
Because I really thought like, she saw this guy as being a yutz right from the beginning.
Right.
Then she kind of weaseled her way in there to get in Angela's ear. But I think now I have to go with Angela because even though Mona did that, I think Angela was the one in the end that still really made the decision. She didn't know that Mona was there
Okay.
seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
And I do feel like she kind of thought, oh, my mom's kind of right about this one. This guy is a yutz. But she still was the one that made the decision for herself. So now I had to change it to Angela. So sorry, Mona. You almost got one from me.
I know. I agree. I mean, I think I think Mona overall could have been the boss, but I think you're right. I think Angela, again, made the ultimate decision. When they thought, you know what I mean? Like when she came home and they didn't know 100% like whether or not she made the decision or whatever.
Yeah, like Mona thought she was talking her into it, but really Angela had already
Right,
made
but
the
Angela had already made the decision. She knew what was going on. So it's clear that Angela was the boss. So I agree with you 100%.
All right. Well, you can reach us on Instagram. It's Who's the Boss Podcast. We no longer have a Facebook page. On Twitter, it's Who's the Boss.
Away from us.
I did, yeah. I don't know. Oh, well.
All
Bye-bye.
the other offensive things we put up on Facebook.
Yes. And on Twitter, it's Who's the Boss Pod 1, or go to anchor.fm/WTB podcast, and there you can leave us a voice message.
Which no one does.
No, we get
Do we have voicemails?
Not recently, but we do get them on this podcast more than the other one. Although the other one's picking up a little bit on the voicemail section.
Oh, okay.
But,
really? Okay.
Yeah, send them to us. We'll play them.
Yeah, we'll play them.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you later.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give a big thumbs up and tell all your friends. And maybe you can tell your grandma, your mother, and your sister or brother. Maybe have no siblings. Tell your dog and cats. Bye.